Imagine a city bustling with life one moment and frozen in time the next. A place where the echoes of footsteps from 2,000 years ago still linger in the air. This isn't a fantasy. It's the real haunting story of Pompeii. Today, we're journeying back to 79 AD to walk the very streets that were sealed under a mountain of volcanic ash, preserving a moment in history like a tragic, beautiful photograph. Our story begins on an ordinary day in the Roman city of Pompeii, nestled in the shadow of a seemingly peaceful mountain. The sun rises over a thriving community. Merchants are setting up their stalls in the bustling forum, the air filled with the scent of freshly baked bread from the local pastrinum and the clatter of chariot wheels on the stone-paved streets. Children's laughter echoes through narrow alleyways, and in the grand villas, wealthy patricians discuss politics and business over wine. Pompeii was a picture of Roman prosperity, a vibrant port city, a holiday destination for Rome's elite, and home to about 20,000 people. They lived, loved, and worked under the watchful eye of Mount Vesuvius, a mountain they revered and had no idea was a sleeping giant. For days leading up to the catastrophe, the earth trembled. Minor earthquakes shook the region, cracking walls and rattling nerves, but this was a seismically active area. Tremors were common, and the people of Pompeii had learned to live with them. They repaired the cracks and carried on with their lives, oblivious to the terrifying pressure building deep within the heart of the mountain. They had no word for volcano in their language. To them, Vesuvius was just a mountain, covered in lush vineyards and green slopes, a source of fertility and beauty, not a harbinger of doom. Then, around midday on what is believed to be an autumn day, the unthinkable happened. With a deafening roar that shattered the sky, Mount Vesuvius awoke. A colossal column of ash, pumice, and gas shot miles into the stratosphere, blotting out the sun and plunging Pompeii into a terrifying premature night. It looked like a monstrous pine tree, as the survivor Pliny the Younger would later describe in his letters. Panic erupted. The lively streets turned into scenes of chaos. People scrambled through the darkness, their faces masks of terror as a rain of light pumice stones, called lapilli, began to fall. At first, the falling stones were small, more of a nuisance than a deadly threat. Some people, thinking it was a temporary storm, sought shelter in their homes, barring the doors and hoping to wait it out. Others, more prescient, grabbed their most precious belongings and made a desperate dash for safety, heading towards the sea or away from the city gates. But as the hours wore on, the lapilli grew larger and heavier, piling up in the streets and causing roofs to collapse under their immense weight. The air, thick with sulfurous gas and choking ash, became impossible to breathe. Darkness was absolute, punctuated only by flashes of volcanic lightning and the horrific sounds of buildings crumbling and people screaming. For those who had stayed behind, the worst was yet to come. In the early hours of the next day, the second and more lethal phase of the eruption began. The massive column of ash, now too heavy to support itself, collapsed. It sent a series of pyroclastic surges, superheated avalanches of gas and volcanic debris racing down the slopes of Vesuvius at hundreds of miles per hour. These waves of death were inescapable. With temperatures exceeding 500 degrees Celsius, they incinerated everything in their path in a matter of seconds. This was the moment that Pompeii was truly frozen. People were caught in the middle of their final actions. A baker was found near his oven, perhaps attempting one last time to save his loaves. A family huddled together in a corner of their villa, a futile attempt to find safety in each other's arms. A man, later nicknamed the Muleteer, was discovered lying beside his mule, a stark reminder of everyday life brought to a sudden, violent end. In the Garden of the Fugitives, a group of 13 people, including children, were found huddled against a wall, their bodies contorted in the agony of their last moments. These weren't just artifacts, they were people. When the eruption finally subsided, Pompeii was gone. Buried under up to 20 feet of ash and pumice, the city and its inhabitants vanished from the face of the earth, its name and location eventually lost to memory. For nearly 1,700 years, Pompeii slept beneath the earth, a silent, forgotten world. It wasn't until the 18th century that it was accidentally rediscovered during the construction of a palace for a Bourbon king. The excavation that followed was unlike any other. Archaeologists weren't just finding old stones and broken pottery. They were unearthing an entire city, almost perfectly preserved. As they carefully cleared away the layers of hardened ash, they found something extraordinary. The bodies of the victims had long since decomposed, but they had left hollow voids in the compacted ash, perfect molds of their final postures. In the 1860s, the archaeologist Giuseppe Fiorelli developed a revolutionary technique. By pouring liquid plaster into these voids, he was able to create hauntingly detailed casts of the men, women, children, and even animals of Pompeii at the moment of their death. These are the famous frozen figures of Pompeii. They aren't statues. They are a direct, visceral link to the human tragedy that unfolded that day. We see a dog, chained and writhing in its final moments. We see a woman shielding her face. We see a man curled in a protective position. Each cast tells a powerful personal story of fear, despair, and the instinct to survive. Walking through the excavated streets of Pompeii today is a surreal experience. You can step into homes and see vibrant frescoes still glowing on the walls, depicting scenes from mythology, daily life, and lush gardens. You can see the ruts worn into the stone streets by chariot wheels, a testament to the city's constant motion. You can enter a bakery and see the carbonized loaves of bread still sitting in the oven. You can read graffiti scrawled on the wall's election slogans, declarations of love, and crude jokes reminders that these were real people with lives as complex and relatable as our own. Sodoma and Gomorrah, one person wrote, a chillingly apt description of the city's fate. The Forum, once the heart of Pompeii's civic and commercial life, is now a wide open space, framed by the ruins of temples and public buildings, with the imposing silhouette of Vesuvius looming in the background. It's impossible to stand there and not feel a profound connection to the past. You can almost hear the clamor of the market, the speeches of politicians, the prayers of priests. The city provides an unparalleled window into Roman life, unfiltered by the passage of time. We know what they ate, how they decorated their homes, what gods they worshipped, and even their political squabbles, all because of this catastrophic event. But Pompeii is more than just an archaeological treasure trove. It's a humbling lesson about the power of nature and the fragility of human existence. The people of Pompeii felt secure, their civilization permanent. They had no idea that their world could be erased in less than a day. Their story serves as a timeless reminder that life is precious and unpredictable. The tragedy of Pompeii gave us the incredible gift of its preservation. By being sealed away from the elements, the city was saved from the slow decay that claims all other ancient sites. It is, in essence, a time capsule, a snapshot of a single terrible day that allows us to understand 2,000 years of history with astonishing clarity. As we look at the plaster casts of those who perished, we are not just looking at victims of a natural disaster. We are looking at ourselves, at the universal human experience of life, love, and loss, frozen forever in the ashes of time. Thank you for joining us on this journey back to ancient Pompeii. If you found this story as fascinating as we do, please hit the like button, subscribe Limitless Daily for more deep dives into history, and share your thoughts in the comments below. What part of Pompeii's story moves you the most? We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep exploring the past.